My name is Edna Mae Taylor. I'm the firstborn of 6 children, my mother's. And I was born August the 23rd, 1922. And I came to Elmira, New York in 1947, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And I had a friend here, and she invited me here. And so that's why I came up to Elmira. And I have been in Elmira all those years, ever since. And now I'm 91 years old. I was 91 the 23rd day of August. And I have 2 boys, Woodrow and Wendell. And my mother passed away in 1988. My husband, Roy Taylor, and I, we got married in June the 15th in 1950. But I was married before I had a first husband.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that's about it. I'm still living here. My husband passed away June the 3rd in 1987, suddenly. And he's from Virginia. And had a lovely family. And they all, the ones that are still alive, still live in Virginia. So, my father passed away in Jacksonville, Florida. And I forget what year that was. But anyway, he passed away there in Jacksonville. I'm just grateful for being alive and for being able to do the things I can still do. Still drive my car.
Wow.
Still help other people, do anything I can for everybody. So I feel good about that, you know. And God has blessed me to do that. A lot of people ask me, how do I do the things that I do at my age? And I said, didn't you know what the old saying is? They said, what? I said, use it or lose it. Anything you don't use, you'll lose. You know, and so this is what keeps me going. I get up every morning, I pray and ask the Lord to give me strength to do what I have to do every day. And God has been good to me. Well, I would make sure that everybody is honest and treat people like they wish to be treated. Yeah, this is one thing I would like to see. You know. And I like to see the young people go to school and get an education. Always do that. Elmira, when I first came here, Elmira was a pretty nice place. But I can see things are deteriorated now from what it used to be.
Good.
God for things being as well as they are.
Okay. All right.
To God be the glory.
God be the glory. All right.
For all that He has done.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes. If I had another place to leave, I'm not sure I want to go back to Quincy, Florida. I don't think I'd want to go back there.
So you'd rather leave here?
Yeah.
So do you know anyone down there?
In Quincy? Oh, yes. I have a sister there.
Oh,
Okay. And I had a brother to die there 3 years ago.
Sorry.
And then I have another brother that lives, he's not my brother, he's my sister's brother, but he calls me his sister. And he worked at Shaw University there in Raleigh, North Carolina. And his wife was the secretary there for many years at Shaw University. And in fact, I just talked to him yesterday. He's in a nursing home in Raleigh, but I talked to him yesterday. Yeah.
And he must be younger than you. He could be younger than you.
Oh no, he's older than I am.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
wow.
I think he's 90. I think he's 96.
6.
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
May Morris. My father's name was Luke Morris. And we all was born and raised in the deep south. And we was raised on a farm. We all had cotton and watermelon and tobacco and corn, cane, peanuts, cotton, and pigs, goats, sheep. We had all that stuff down there. So, and peanuts, we had people shake peanuts and watermelon. And my dad was he liked to hunt. He'd go out and kill rabbits and coons and possums and squirrels and all them things, like all that good stuff. And I had 15 brothers and 4 sisters, and no twins. And but we didn't have steak and ribs every day, but we ate good. We was full every day. And so I lived to get now I'm 77 years old, and I'm still full of rabbit right on. I never forget that I just had a rabbit last week. Well, that boy was good too. Yeah, my nephew he going coon hunting this week. I told him to get a coon to bring me a coon back. But that was down south. We used to have coon and sweet potatoes. And that was some good stuff.
I told you, man, this is something.
So, you know, by all that, I'm from Georgia.
Told you
My childhood days, let me see. I don't remember too much about my childhood days because I started work when I was about 7, 8 years old, working in the fields, and went to school for a while. And we had to go to church every Sunday, barefooted or bareheaded, whatever it was, we had to go to church every Sunday. And as far as my brothers and things, we all played together, and my mom and dad, they took care of us.
You know what I'm saying?
And they give us everything they could afford.
You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah.
So,
but you know,
I mean, I don't regret it. I probably didn't have much as some kids had. Came out pretty good. Cause look at me now, I'm big and pretty. I'm old, but I still look good. Look at my hair. My hair ain't gray. I still got black hair and everything. So you see, I must have had a pretty good childhood. I got a lot of whooping though. I got a lot of whooping. Outside of that, I made it out. Well, I left Douglas, Georgia, and came to Elmira because my oldest brother, he was up here. And my brother Mac was up here, and then my brother Jimmy, he was up here. And then my brother Henry, he came up. So we started following one another. And then after they got up here, left me and my dad and the younger kids down in Douglas. And my dad got lonesome because my mother was up here. So he decided he wanted to come up here. And we all just packed up and moved to Elmira. And we've been up here ever since. And so you got this at the wrong time. You ain't gonna keep them quiet.
Go ahead.
And,
they're shooting a video.
That's about it. We left Douglas and came up here, and I've been up here ever since. And one reason I came because the job was better up here. I wasn't making no money down there. And I got tired of working in the field, and I got tired of flying a mule. There's a whole lot of things I got tired of. So we decided we'd come to Elmira because my brother said Bunny would make more money up here. Then I got up here and got a job at Kennedy Valve, and I was there for almost 30 years. And I've been here in Elmira ever since. But that's why we left and come up here, because we had been down there long enough. And my brothers moved up here, and we loved one another enough, so we just kept following one another. So we all got up here, and my mom got up here and got sick. She died up here. And then everybody stayed there, nobody never went back. That's about it. I met my wife in down in Fields, Georgia, and we went together down there. And when I left and came up here, I sent back for her, and she came up here. And then when she got up here, we got married up here. And and she been back home, I think, twice. I've been back home once. And me and her been up here in Elmira ever since. We've been married over 50 years. And we've been right here in Elmira ever since then. Yeah, so I retired from Kennedy Valve and been living right here in 318 Dewitt Avenue ever since then. So that's about it. When we were singing spiritual songs, we used to sing spiritual songs. My daddy had 2 quartets. He had I was in the 2nd quartet. And we would go out and sing and try to out-sing the other choirs in the church. And on 4th of July and things like that, he would barbecue a pig, a goat, something or other. And of course, I always had a good life, enjoyed myself. And so about all I can say, but when getting my age, my memory ain't as good as it used to be. I can't remember all the things I did. I just remember some of them. And so that takes care of that. Yeah. That's about all I can think of. Yeah, I like to say I love all my nephews, nieces, and in-laws, and brothers and sisters, and especially I met my niece's husband David. He's about the best in-law of the whole bunch. Me and him get along real good. And, he's kind of funny guy like me. We're always laughing and talking, and but I love all of them. But he's kind of special guy. So I'm gonna have to try to stick close with. I'm gonna have to try to stick close with him. So I guess that's about it. I didn't say too much about my wife because I gotta ask her I forgot to ask her if she wanted to be in the movie, so I couldn't say too much. she might want to get 5% of it. She might want to get a cut out of it. You get too many people in there, I won't be nothing left for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Nate was just telling me, Mary said she broke her foot.
We came through Washington. We got lost. We got lost from coming from Douglas, driving from Douglas up here, and I come through Washington. To get to Elmira, everybody else was bypassing. We come smack down through the middle of Washington, D.C. With a old big Dynaflow Buick. I only had 2 front wheel brakes, all I had. The brake line had busted on it. I had the 2 front wheel brakes and an old emergency brake. You pull it on,
And break.
yeah, that's how I stopped the car. And I had all these kids in there. And we made it from Georgia all the way here. They're married. And nobody in the car could read.
How many days?
It took us about a day and a night, and going back on another day before we got here. And nobody in the car could read. We came all the way from Douglas, Georgia to Elmira.
So you keep asking people?
Huh? Asking people. That's a long way to ask somebody to come from
Georgia.
We stopped and asked people, said, do you know where Elmira, New York is? Some people didn't know where Elmira they didn't know where it was at. We made it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and I I was driving, and Luke and Robert stayed down there.
Mm-hmm.
And me and I had me
Mm-hmm.
and John, Jack, Jean, Dorothy there, Beatrice.
What? Hello?
All in that one car.
How many of you?
It was me,
You
Dorothy there,
Mm-hmm.
Jack,
Mm-hmm.
Jean, and Beatrice.
Mm-hmm.
In that one car. And my dad.
Oh, your dad.
And my dad.
Okay.
We all of us was in one old big Buick.
Mm-hmm.
One big dinosaur Buick. It was long as that. It was long. You remember old big dinosaur Buick when they first come out back in the 50s?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. We all of us packed in there like sardines. And we were that way all the way down there. You talking about God taking care of food. He so took care of it. It had to be.
They were
Well,
babies
with
though.
nowhere in the world, we could have made it here, but we wouldn't have been. Because we had run out of money. We had run out of money. We just had probably run out of money. And the little money you had to take and buy gas with. If gas had been like it is now, we couldn't have made it.
Mm.
And you know, when the kids just started getting hungry, crying, we finally made it.
So, when you get, who do you stay with?
Then we got up and we stayed, some of us stayed with MC,
Uncle MC?
Mac.
Ma-
Mac, Bubba's dad.
Right.
Tony's dad.
Tony's dad.
Some of us stayed there and some of us stayed with
Mad, you mean?
my sister. No, my sister Emma and Butler wasn't up here then. Some
Was
of us
Jimmy
stayed-
here then?
Huh?
Was Jimmy up here at the time?
Yeah, some of us stayed with Jimmy for a while. And then we didn't have to stay with them long because we got our own. They got us our own place, our own house, own apartment. Wasn't far from MC. And we moved all of us. We moved in it, and they had their place their own. Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Okay. My name is Udella Moss. I was born to Mrs. Josie Johnson Harvard and Deacon George H. Harvard. I'm the daughter of 8 children. I'm the middle child. We was brought up on a farm, a plantation. And we had lots of cotton, corn, peanuts, gardens, all kinds of vegetables. And then, as we were growing up, we had to gather the farm. And as little children, we had to start working at early ages on the farm. And I was around 4 or 5 years old, somewhere along there. But I know I wasn't old enough to go to school. But we had to get up very early in the morning and cook breakfast and go to the field. We worked all day. There was no such thing as getting a break. Only time you could stop was to get a drink of water. Or either you had to go out to relieve yourself. Then after we worked all day, you come home, you took a bath, you ate some supper. Well, you stopped at noontime to eat dinner, You stopped at noontime to eat dinner. And you was home from 12 to 1. 1 o'clock come, the boss man rung a bell. And that means it's time for you to go back to work. So you went back to work and you worked all the rest of the evening until night. And then you could go home. You took baths and you ate your supper and you went to bed. Got right back up the next morning, did the same thing. And you see, farms you work according to what the season is. See, some seasons is, the early seasons is picking string beans, that's gardens and stuff. You did the string beans, the cabbages and the beans, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And we had the can. There wasn't no such thing as freezers and all that stuff. We had these jars. And my brothers and my father used to get up early in the morning and go to the field and gather the vegetables. And then when they bring them home, they used to have these big tubs. They put the tubs on a big sleigh, and the mule hooked the sleigh to the mule, and they bring the stuff home. And all of us girls had to sit down and shell all them peas and beans and all that stuff. And my mother would can it, because that was our food for the winter. We had all kinds of vegetables like beans and peas and all that stuff. They can it. And then, you know, it's always a lot of leftovers because it's so hot. Well, when the peas got dry, we used to pick them and put them in these great big burlap bags. They was in the shell. Then you save those for the winter. And just like people go to the store now and buy peas and beans and all, we didn't have to do that because you gathered all that stuff from the farm, see, and you had that for the winter. Well, after you got all that done, the sad story is that back then, black children couldn't go to school. You only could go to school if it was raining or everything was out of season. But long as stuff was in season on that farm, you had to stay home and gather. The white children went to school. That's just that the other thing. The white children went to school, the black children had to work. And another thing, when the white people ate dinner, they had a black child. A lot of them folks didn't have no screen doors much. You know, the flies come in. So they got a black child to fan the table. They had this fan thing made to fan the table. Now here all these white people sitting there eating all this good food, nice and everything. But remember, the cook was black. And she did all, did all the food, everything. And you make biscuits with your hand. You ain't got no gloves on. You see what I'm saying? Now them black ladies could do all of that. They could do all of that, but they couldn't come in the front door. You had to go around to the back. But they did all the cooking. And they took care of them white people children. And I remember once this lady was sick. This white lady, she was sick. Okay, when we grew up, and everybody was old enough, to start to get married and get out the house, back at that time, girls and boys married at a very early age. Okay? Okay, my oldest sister got married and she was gone. And then next was my oldest brother. Well, he didn't get married, but he left at an early age and he went to Florida, then from Florida to Pittsburgh. And he stayed in Pittsburgh until he died. He used to come to visit and stuff like that. But then my next sister, which is Mary, that's my next oldest sister, she got married and she moved. But that marriage didn't work. But anyway, next was me. So, long and then, girls and boys, when they was dating, well, you didn't go nowhere. The boys had to come to the house to see you. And when they got there, you had to tip your hat. and Mr., the father, you had to look at you first.
You gotta check your.
That's right. Look at you first. And if he said no, you better get going. But anyway, we didn't date very long. And remember I told you that Jimmy was so scared. He was so scared. As I said, my father was a very quiet man, but he was not a mean man. But people just thought, because he was not the type of, I've never in my life heard my father tell a joke. He was just serious. And my father worked every day, all day, hard-working man. But he never missed, I can't remember my father ever missed After he ate dinner and got his bath and everything, he read his Bible in his Sunday school book. Every night, I never heard him say, I'm too tired. And he had to walk everywhere he went. But never heard him say he was too tired. He always read his Bible and his Sunday school book. Then on Sunday morning, as I told you, on the Saturday, they went to this conference. And people didn't have no cars. We lived it like off the highway, like you turn off the highway and then you come down a lane. And then lots of Saturdays he'd bring a preacher home with him. And then we had to cook. And the preachers and all the grown folks ate first. And we ate last and washed up the dishes and everything, and you got ready for Sunday. Nobody worked on the Sunday. You didn't do anything on the Sunday. Now, just like we worked all the weekend back long and then, we had to straighten our hair. But if you didn't get it done on the Saturday, you better not let my father catch you in there straightening your hair on Sunday morning. Oh, no. You better get it done on a Saturday. And you get your Sunday clothes, your Sunday dress ready, and get your little shoes ready, socks, for Sunday. You went to church. That was the only time. See, we lived in the country. And that was the only time you saw a lot of people was on the Sunday at church. And back long and then, girls and boys, they were so glad to go to church. But now you can't get nobody up to go to church, you see. But after church was over, well, everybody started out walking, going on back home. And then, as people get older, they can't walk and run as fast as they used to. So they had do you know what a wagon is?
Mm-hmm.
In the mules?
The mule.
Well, the boss man would allow them to hook the mules up to the wagon. And that way you ride to church. You see? And then when they had those special days like big meetings, a lot of those boss men had a truck. Because see, it was on the farm. And some of them had a pickup and some of them had those big trucks with the bodies on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they would allow the black guy to drive it.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd go around, because everybody wanted to go to these big meetings. And some of the places was too far to walk. So the boss man would allow a black guy to drive the truck, and he'd go around and pick up all the people, that wanted to go to church. But everybody wanted to go to church. And the ladies was, be sitting on the back of the truck, and they'd have their head tied up because, the dust.
The dust, yeah.
Dust, was, dirt road.
Mm-hmm.
And the dust be flying, so they'd have the head tied up, then they'd have them little shoes in the bags, so they wouldn't get so dusty, riding, going to church. So, everybody could gather up on that truck, and go to church. Then they had these big meetings where you brought food for everybody to, everybody to eat. And then I never forget, some things I will never forget. The 4th of July, boss man allowed them they had a cleared off a place. And them great big long pulpwood truck, what pulpwood truck is?
No.
Pulpwood truck is long, just like you see these big trucks, but they didn't have no bodies on them, it was flat.
Flatbed.
It was flat. Have you ever seen these trucks going down the highway with a lot of logs on them?
No. Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Okay.
See, it's flat. It got all these logs on there. Well, what they would do for the 4th of July, that's Independence Day. And they didn't work on the 4th of July. Nobody worked. Well, of course, the black folks did all the cooking. All of this food, black folks cooked. But then when it was ready, the white folks ate first. All the black folks had to stay back till they finished eating. And I'll never forget this. When they finished eating everything, this white man, right there where the food was, he hopped and spit on the ground. Oh, yes, he did. Then walked on off. couldn't say nothing. Black folks couldn't say a word. You know, that was after the white folk got through eating. See, would have made sense for him, you know, to go on off if he had to spit. But no, stood right there and spit.
Why?
Huh?
Why do that?
Just nasty. Just nasty, that's all. Then they get in their cars and leave. Well, then the black folks eating, of course, and do all the cleaning up and everything. And back long and then, the white ladies, they sit down and they go to the hairdresser and read the newspapers, and well, it wasn't on phones long and then. And some of them had cars. Well, didn't many ladies drive long and then. But, you know, they would visit and all. Then the black folks just cleaning their houses and seeing about their children and all. And I always said, if I ever got grown, and if I had any children, I was not going to make them wait to eat. I never believed in that. And then, after we all left home and all, you know, everybody kind of scattered. This person, you know, moved here and this person moved there and all. And when we come down, okay, when me and Jimmy got married, we left Georgia and we went to Florida. Stayed in Florida for a while, but not long. But I got me a job while I was there. And believe it or not, back long and then, you know, folks didn't get paid much. But you know, the Lord blessed me to get, it was a government nursery there, and I never heard tell of another government nursery. And I had 2 children, Matthew and Ty. And I used to take them, just lived at the nursery was right down the street from where we lived. So I'd take them to the nursery, and Jimmy was doing construction. And I would catch the bus. You know how the buses, you ever seen folks be standing on the corner waiting for the bus? Then when you get on the bus, when you got just about almost where you was going, you shouldn't pull the string. And that means the guy stop, you know, stop and let you off. I had Jimmy's uncle name. This was a really nice lady. It was white people, but she was really nice. And her son was going to get married, and she said she paid $15 a week. That was a lot of money long in there. Because all of them black ladies were riding that bus. Some of them got paid $11. Some of them got paid $10. And they couldn't figure out how I got a job paid so much.
A week.
So I went to work for her on a Wednesday. And when Friday comes, she said to me, she said, I didn't mean to work you. She said, I didn't mean to work you so hard. She said, I'm going to pay you for a full week. In the first week I worked, 3 days, she paid me $15 and bus fare. And your lunch, they count all that in. Well, anyway, first day I worked for her, so I had never seen a vacuum cleaner in my life. And she asked me, she wanted to, you know, floor vacuum. And I told her I didn't know how to use that cleaner, and she said, I'll show you. So she showed me. So then the next day, she had to go to the dentist. So when she come back, because she told me, she said, when I come back, she said, my mind might be a little puffy and all, and I might not be able to talk too clear. When she come back, I was going to vacuum the rest, you know, some more of the rooms, because she had a pretty big house. So I had vacuumed when she got back. And she said, who showed you how to use the vacuum cleaner? I said, you showed me yesterday. She said, you mean you remember? You remember? I told her, yes. Man, when she took the vacuum cleaner out the closet and showed me how you hook up the attachments to do the floor and one to do the curtains, the couches and all. I watched what she did, and I know how to do it the next day. So she said to me, she said, you're very smart. She's a really nice lady, so I worked for her. As I said, we wasn't in Florida long. Maybe 3 months, something like that. But when we left Florida, we went to Washington. And Jimmy and I, we rode for Jacksonville.
Okay.
And then we split. Because he was going on buses, all point north and all point south. He was coming to Washington. See, my older sister Clotha, she lived at that end. And then I was coming on back home to Ma and them house.
Douglas.
Huh?
Where?
Douglas.
Douglas.
And I was gonna stay there until he got a job, and got a place for us
Yeah.
to stay.
Okay.
So that's what we did. So we couldn't make a living in Washington, David. So long and then I had a lot of relatives living there, and everybody was young and working. One of my cousins worked for the post office. I was gonna get me a job at the post office. But you see, Jimmy didn't have any education. He couldn't read or write or anything. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's like I tell every young person come along, get your education. Because if you don't have no education, you can't make it. You'll be so poor, you know what I mean, got live in these rat roach projects
Left over.
and all that sort of junk. So we could not make it in Washington. Well, he had a brother, Mac, Dessie's husband, and Dessie's brother.
Right.
All these nice men is gone now. But anyway, Dessie's brother, oldest brother, he had come to Elmira, and he told Dessie's husband, folks used to write letters.
Right.
They spelled the best he could. And told him, said, man, come on up here, man. Said, there's jobs up here. So Dessie and Mac and them came up here in the spring. Well, we stayed in Washington a few months, not long. And then his brother, one of Jimmy's brothers, come through Washington, come into Elmira. And he had the little layover at the bus station. And we didn't live from the bus station. This is right down the street, maybe a block and a half. And while he was waiting on his next bus to come, he took a cab. He got our address from Ma, and he come around where we stayed, and he told us, he didn't stay all night, just maybe a couple of hours, waiting on the next bus to come. So Jimmy told him, said, man, said, if there's any jobs over there, said, let me know. And his brother, did you ever see the one that had the trach on his leg?
Henry.
Yeah, him. Well, he was well and young then.
Henry.
But anyway, when he got down Myra, he come through there on a Saturday, because he had to work all the week. And we got a little old, it really wasn't a letter, it was more like a note. About Tuesday. And it said, man, come on up here. I said, there's plenty of jobs up here. Just a little note. And we didn't have nothing, no how, David. So we packed up what little bit we had. And had no suitcase now. And no, folks used to have boxes. They didn't have anything.
Call them trunks.
Didn't have the
Foot lockers, trunk.
we put what little bit we had in some boxes. And you seen them brown handbags? Had a handbag with Tide's clothes in it, and had as I said, had a know. So we come on down tomorrow. We got you on the Saturday because he got his little pay that Friday. Well, see, I had all our little old stuff all boxed up and ready. So when he got off that Friday, it was a bus coming down tomorrow. Left at 10:40.
In the morning.
No, at night.
Was leaving DC?
We was in D.C.
10
And the
o'clock.
bus was coming to Elmira,
Okay.
leaving at 10:40. And
At
we
night?
got,
Okay.
and then we got you the next morning, something like 7 or something like that. And his brother met us down to the bus station. And see, we thought we was at the little bus station. Cause you know how big bus station is in
DC,
Washington.
yeah, right,
So
right.
we thought, we were just at this little bus station. Cause it wasn't quite light outside, see. So when daylight come, you're looking all around. And I was just amazed we was in such a little place. Well, we got a place. We got a place to stay. And this lady, she was black people, and the lady worked for some of these white people. In the summertime, they go to these cottages, and she was, the lady she was be with them the whole summer at the cottage, but her husband was home, and we asked him, because he told us, where his wife was and everything. We asked him did he think she would mind if he rented to us? And he said, oh no, she won't mind. She won't mind at all. Tell you what, we got the place. Well, Matthew and Ty was little, but I had a piece of plastic, some kind of plastic, to put on the bed so, you know, the children wouldn't wet on the ladies' mattress.
Right.
Because, you know, you can wash the sheets, but, you know. One day, and her husband's niece came to visit. And the lady of the house, she still hadn't got back. And me and the niece, we was upstairs, because the partner was upstairs, and we was in the kitchen cooking. You know, and we were talking and all, and she was going, it was about, summer was about over, and time for people to come back home, the kids, for school. So the lady came in, the man's wife came in, and she yelled upstairs, who's upstairs? Me and that lady, we looked at each other, you know, we looked. She said, whoever he is, come on from up there. So she came upstairs, you know, the lady of the house. She said, who is y'all? So the other lady told her she was her husband's niece. She wanted to know who I was. And I told her, I said, I'm the tenant. She told the niece, she said, you can stay here, but she told me, you get out. Just like that. I tell you what, we done already paid our rent and everything. You know what I told that lady? Never seen him alive. I told her, I said, your husband rented this apartment to us, and we asked him, would you mind if he rented it to us with children? Oh, she raised sand. You know what I told that woman? I said, let me tell you something. I said, I ain't going nowhere. I said, I already paid the rent. I said, I'm not going nowhere until I find me a place, until we find another place to stay. I said, you ain't putting me out. She looked, and she ain't said nothing. But her husband, he hadn't got home from work. But when he got home, I don't know what she said to him or anything. But it was a neighbor that lived across the street there I told her I was looking for another place to stay, but I wasn't going nowhere until I found another place to stay. So that lady said, she said, I know. She said, my sister-in-law is having a hard time getting somebody to babysit. She had 2 boys, and the lady was working. And she said, I'm gonna take you down to my sister-in-law's. Hi, Denny. I said, I'm gonna take you down to my sister-in-law's house. So she did that evening when the sister-in-law come home. And me and her met. And the deal was, she was working, see, and I wasn't. So the deal was, she rented us 2 bedrooms. And she only charged $7.
A month? Week?
No, $7 a week. And I keep the kids.
Cool.
So, okay, that was fine. Because, as I said, I wasn't working then, and they was maybe 6 or 7 years old. They wasn't no babies. So, me and my 2 kids and her 2 kids, we were there all day. You know, and I cooked. I meant for us, not for them.
Okay.
You know, just for us. And she had a husband, so we stayed. We got along just fine. And don't you know, Sister Simpson's husband, you remember Jimmy's older sister, don't you? He came up here. And out of the sky, where he went to where Dessie and Mac lived, they had 1 little bedroom. So they brought him over to where we lived at.
Who's that?
Dessie's husband, they was living where they were living at. They had 1 bedroom with 3 children. And they brought Jimmy's sister's husband over where we lived at. Because they know we had 2 bedrooms. But the lady rented us some 2 bedrooms. So, well, you couldn't leave the man out the door. So we gave up one of our bedrooms so he could have a place to stay. But then that's just the way it was back long in the day. All black folk just jammed up in a place somewhere. But then I didn't stay there. We didn't stay there very long because there was another lady there, one of these great big rooming houses. So we rented from her. We stayed there. We moved there first. The next thing, all the rest of them moved in.
Mm.
Dessie and them, the Simpsons, all of us stayed there. So,
One happy family.
and one bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Big old house.
One bathroom.
Big old house. One bathroom.
Mm.
And somebody stopped at the toilet one day. But we had this one guy, he worked, all the men was founder men. So he had a room, but he was a singer man. So he got it unstopped and everything. And then, thank God, I tell you what, David, one day me and the landlord, we got in an argument. Because that old refrigerator, it wasn't made like these refrigerators I'd had. You ever seen them refrigerators with just one little spot like that in the middle for the ice trays? Well, they call them more like an ice boxes or something. But anyway, I told Jim, I said, I ain't staying here no longer. So he went, I was pregnant with Mickey. I got pregnant with Mickey. And he went up the streets there to, the bars like black folks have. He was asking around, if anybody asking some of them guys, if they know, any place you could rent an apartment. And this one guy who was big and fat, he told Jimmy, if you buy me a bottle of wine, he said he could find him an apartment. And he really did. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say apartment, but this lady and her husband, awfully nice folks. The lady went down to the Mark Twain Hotel, and they rented to us. And we stayed with awfully nice folks. We got along real good, and we stayed with them. Jones Court, I had put in an application, but nobody had no phones or anything.
Okay.
And it was a nice lady we had met, lived across the streets, and I asked, she had a phone, and I asked her if I could put, how you had to put down somebody you could call?
Right.
So I asked her if I could put her name down. She said yes. And she was an awful nice lady. And while we was living with these people, the lady went to the Mark Twain, Jones Coat office, trying to get in touch with me.
Okay.
And they got in touch with her, and she made sure, that lady made sure I got the message. And when I got the message, hi Terry, when I got the message, we went over to Jones Coat. Back long and then, David, Jones Coat was a really nice place to live. Because, see, I got a friend that was born and raised here, and she told me how black folks had to live before they built Jones Coat. She said it was so raggedy over there, like when them big snows come all up in folks, they just didn't have nowhere to stay. People was glad, when they built Jones Coat. Jones Coat built in 1949. I moved in it in 1953.
Okay. So it was fairly new.
And I said, if I never live in another new house, and back long and then, it's sad they let Jones Coat go. Because, see, it belonged to Jones Coat and Hawthorne Coat belonged to the city. And they was kept up real good. And I tell you, when I moved in that house, I was really blessed. Because, David, I've always been this way. I never wanted to crowd up and on nobody else. I always wanted a place to myself. Me and Jimmy, we said when we got married, we wasn't going to live with relatives and friends and all that. Get you a little place to yourself if you didn't have nothing but a bed and a stove until you could do better. So when we moved in, we went to Jones Coat, we got the phone call, and Lord, we went over there and I was so pregnant. But you had to listen to all the rules and regulations. That man read a whole book just about about the do's and the don'ts and what you could do and what you couldn't do, and all that kind of stuff. And then they had to know how many children you had. If you say you had 2 or 10 or whatever, they had to see every one of them birth certificate.
Okay.
And your marriage license. Oh yeah. You did not move in Jones Coat if you wasn't married. Them rules were so strict, but I tell you what, they had one rule that just wasn't right. but you couldn't do nothing about it if you wanted to move in. You know what it was? If one spouse died, they wouldn't have to move.
Oh.
And I thought that a little too strict,
Mm.
because that's something you can't help. Well, anyway, that was the way it was. But everybody's young, you know, lived moving there, but somebody's wife did die. Can't remember now who it was, but anyway, you'd have to, you know, that was the rule.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed in Jones Cove for 5 years. And then, but you know, they go by your income. Well, before we moved out, see, I got
How many
a,
rooms?
huh?
How many rooms over there? Jones Court. How many
How many
bedrooms?
bedrooms? It was called how many children you had.
Oh,
You got-
okay.
If you see, I had 2 when I moved in there,
Mhm.
but I was supposed to get a 3-bedroom apartment because it was almost time for Mickey to be born. But the man said, he said, well, he said, by you needing a place to stay so bad, he said, I'm gonna let you have a 2-bedroom apartment because there wasn't a 3-bedroom available. But he said because your children ain't nothing but babies. The boys and girls couldn't have the same room, but he said, by they were nothing but babies, they was gonna let me move in the 2-bedroom. But when the 3-bedroom become available, we'd have to move, you know, switch. So we stayed in the 2-bedroom maybe a half a year. And then a 3-bedroom apartment become available. Then we were living in the same unit, but just moved to a different apartment, 3 bedrooms. And they made them bedrooms, you know, you had a nice big bedrooms. You had closets, you had a living room, you know, in the kitchen and all. It was really nice. At the beginning, Jones Court was nice. But you know how folks is. Over the years, when they start, I tell you when it went down, David, when they start letting single ladies move in there, that's when it went down. Because you know, all of these different men slipping in and out and all this foolishness. Well, we moved out and we moved in an apartment. It was long and then it was houses. We moved in an apartment on Lake Street right across from Money Davis School up there. All them streets was houses. So we stayed there 1 year. So that was 1961. We moved in there in 1960. Yeah, we lived at that lady's house 1 year. Moved there in 1960 and we moved out in 1961 because we bought that house down the area where Dewisboro and all that stuff at. All that was residential area. So we moved in that little house and we stayed in that little house.
How you doing? Oh, great.
We stayed in that little house until the state come through.
How you doing?
And they bought us out. So then we moved in this house. That's where Renee and Billy was born at. We moved in this house, and we still in this house. Flood came in 1972.
I'm in New York. I'm with.
Well,
Okay.
when the flood came,
For Thanksgiving.
some people had to relocate, some people's houses was torn down because of the flood, and it was so bad and everything, so it was torn down and people relocated. That was in 1972.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going back to DC tomorrow.
And we've been here ever since.
Monday.
Thank God we're still here, but I lost my husband.
Yeah, I'm off till Monday. Go back to work.
A few years ago.
Okay.
But thank God I'm still here. The children was coming back and forth to see me.
That's my answer.
And I thank God we're still here. But it wasn't easy growing up. Back in that time, as far as I'm concerned, black people were nothing but slaves. Our first house, when we moved from that apartment, our first home that we owned cost, let's see, our first house cost $5,000. And we paid $50 a month. We stayed there until the state come through, see, and bought out all of that area down there. They bought out all that, and everybody had to relocate. And then we found this house here. And we moved here in 1967. We moved in this house. And we've been here ever since. Well, the flood came in 1972, but when we moved here, this house was $10,000. $10,000. And the mortgage was $107 a month. Yeah.
How much you paying for that?
Huh?
That was a lot of money?
Well, you asked that's a lot of money. It's an awful lot of $107 a month. That's an awful lot of money.
Uncle Julius called you.
Yeah, I call it back.
Back long and then, I guess, okay, the mortgage was $107 a month. The gas and electric bill was, it would range like 40-something dollars a month. And when it went up to $50 a month, everybody, that's just too much money for anything. And we bought a new car,
Oh, wow.
19
Country guy with a new car.
1962 Ford Galaxy 500. That was the top of the line. You know how much we paid for that? $3,000. Brand new. Payment on that was $62 a month. And when we first moved in this house, David moved in here in 1967. And I'm tell you, this was a fine house. It was fine. We moved in the best house it was down here on the east side. And see, at that time, where the lawn is right there, you see that big old tree out there? That's a cherry tree. Well, it was a store.
Okay.
It was tall. It wasn't wide, because you know that yard ain't that wide. It was tall. But before the flood, see, we had the book. You know, they went to this house. But all that stuff was destroyed, you know, when the flood came. But the people that owned this house, they owned it the whole block. They owned it from the, from right here on the corner, always to this.
Don't get my glove. Cold in my glove. Wait.
They owned it from that corner all the way to this little alleyway street here. To this little house next door used to belong to this house. But over the years, they sold off. They sold off this little house. But they kept, this was the main house and the store. Do you remember when people had to go to the store and call for what they wanted?
No.
Well, see, okay, you know the white people on the store. And when you wanted to get your groceries, you go to, just like where the cashier is, that's far as you could go. And you stand there and you tell the man what, you want some flour, you wanted 10 pounds of flour, 5 pounds of sugar, whatever you wanted. And he'd get it put up there on the counter. We didn't have all these big grocery stores around here where you go get the carton, and get your stuff. It wasn't like that then. You had to go and call for it. But anyway, this house was the main house, as I say. And it was an apartment up over the store, you see. And people used to ring the bell and they would come down and unlock the door so you could come in the store. And this house had you talking about some pretty hardwood floors. They were just like glass. But they wasn't slippery. You wouldn't slip down on them. Mighty fine. But see, we didn't have them that long because we moved in here in 1967 and the flood came in 72. Would you believe how high that water went? Would you believe it?
Wow.
It went I tell you what, it didn't touch them ceilings. Them beams in the living room? It did. I said if it had touched them, I'd just give up and try to move, and find another place to stay. But it didn't touch them. But you got to realize the whole basement, filled up with water, come right on up. Well, you see the woodwork don't look like it used to. But we was all young then. But you know, everybody had to get out and down here. And I said to the man, I said, well, where we going? He said, Elmira College. He said, you know where Elmira College is? And I told him, yeah. Well, see, I had been working for years then. And gathered up everybody and went over to Elmira College. You ever heard the story about Noah's Ark?
Mm-mm.
Remember Noah's Ark, the story in the Bible about Noah's Ark?
No, exactly. Right.
Well, that's all I could think of. Because you had peoples, birds, cats, dogs, everything. And see, like some people was keeping these mental patients and all. You had to bring them with you, but the state sent, you know, them that big car things, and they, you know, got all them people and took them back, you know, like to the where they keep them at. Cause see, the folks that was keeping them, they didn't have nowhere to stay their own self, so they come and got all those people. And the what do you call it? SPA, the one that, you know, come get the dogs and the cats and all. They came and gathered up, you know, all people's pets and everything, and took them. And I'll never forget, me and another lady, she had a lot of kids and I had a lot of kids, plus, I tell you how many little kids I had. My sister Lorraine, my youngest sister, she was in the hospital because she had a kidney, she had an operation. I had 2 little girls. I had her 2 little girls. Nanny and Beanie were none but little bitty baby kids. And Day. All of them were staying here with me. Well, I had to gather up all of them and get out of here. And Matthew and his girlfriend lived down there by that car wash. And they jumped up and come running. And Matthew, he drove the car and Jimmy drove the truck. You know, we went over to Elmira College. And I bumped into this other lady I know very well. And she had all these kids. And a relative of hers was a maintenance man over around Hawthorne Court. And she had a sister lived in Hawthorne Court. And that lady called and said, come over here. Said the flood ain't coming this far. And we took off. She set her purse down, David. You know, we had all these little kids right around us because there was so many people over there. She set her purse down and looked around to see where one of them little kids was. And that purse was gone just that quick. And you know, I didn't know people, that's just my cane, honey. I didn't know people would do like that. All them peoples over there in that college and folks got to stealing. That's terrible. People already in trouble. And that lady set her purse down, right down there by, and she looked around to see what one of the little babies was. Gone, just that quick. She said she had $500 in, but wasn't no need asking about it. Just going. And we went to Hawthorne Court because she had a sister lived there, and my sister lived there. See, and I had her kids. So me and my family, we gathered up in my sister's house, and her kids gathered up in her sister's house. But at least it wasn't nothing over there but family. A bunch of little kids and everything. And I remember we took my sister's coffee table and we put it in one of the closets. Because, you know, we had all these, the kids were little long in there. And as I said, yes, it was crowded, but it was just only family. You wasn't among all of these different, you know, strange people. But, you know,
I'll bring my laptop. It's in the bag upstairs.
one thing my father taught us, he said, no matter what happened or what's going on, he said, everybody ain't around for good. I never forgot that. And it's true. That's people for you. My mother had been in Georgia all her life, David. And it was just so cold up. You know, it was too cold up here for her. So she had some more happy years because when she married my stepfather, he was a preacher. Really nice man. They came up here one year to visit. I'll never forget, because that was the year I was going to start the nursing school. And they came up for Mother's Day weekend. And I remember it rained that weekend. But anyway, the poor man got sick. They came on the bus, got here on the Saturday. In that same Saturday night, I had taken him to the hospital. Well, I didn't mind, So we got up, took him to the hospital. But see, poor Creed, he was old. And he had trouble peeing. So Took him that Saturday night, and the doctor, gave him some medicine, treated him all, and we came back home. The same thing that Sunday night, and I'm so sleepy then. But I had to get up. Take him back to the hospital, and they kept him. I figured I just about knew they was gonna keep him, so I was talking, on our way to the hospital to him. I said, we called him preacher. I said, if they want to keep you, will you stay? Those things like that. No, well, the doctor was awfully nice, and he understood, so they kept him. But it was a preacher lived here then, down the streets, right on down below Dessie, not far down the street. Didn't know. See, my stepfather's last name was Carter. And this preacher up here was named Reverend Miles. And he knowed Reverend Carter because he come from down south, that preacher did. And he said, Reverend Carter, he said he was really young, a real young preacher. But, the people always at the church, so he had known him from Georgia. So I told him about he was in the hospital, and Reverend Miles made sure he went up there to see him. He went up there and visited him. And they put him in there on the Sunday night. Poor man, they were going to visit with us a week. So they put him in on the Sunday night, and the poor man didn't get out till, I think it was Saturday.
For a week.
He spent his whole week. He spent his whole week in the hospital, and I told these kids, I said, now listen. I said, now y'all got to be nice. But my kids, they was pretty big. Okay. And I said, and then my uncle, one of my uncles and one of my brothers lived in Washington. He lived there about all his life, because when he come out to service, see, him and his wife, they'd been in Washington, I don't know how long, because they owned the home there, and I used to go see him, went down there. And he came up here on the bus, and we didn't even know he was coming. See, who was sick then? Ma was, my stepfather, see, when they went back down south, see, he, later years, he died. And then there wasn't nobody but Ma. And my brother, he just wasn't the one that pay all the folks that much attention. And they live out in the country, David, and they had you know what an axe is?
Want to chop wood?
Yep.
Yeah.
They had to try to chop the wood.
I used to use it.
To make
firewood, whatever.
Make a fire in the fire.
Log.
Yeah.
I did it.
And he wasn't able to chop no wood, and poor Ma, she trying to chop wood and all. But she didn't want to live up here, but after he passed away, he just didn't need no choice. There wasn't nobody down there but her, nobody to, So she come on up here. My sister Bertha, she drove down there. Ma got her, what she had wasn't nothing fresh nose, because back then the towel was nice. And she didn't want to move in there, so she was moving to Vicksburg, so we moved down there, but she didn't stay down there very long. Because we told her.
So they didn't go back for a while? How long they stay here, the preacher man?
Oh, he just come to visit for a vacation.
But he stayed more than a week? Because he was sick.
When he got out of the hospital, he went home. He went home, and I never saw him again.
Never saw him again.
Never saw him again. And after he passed away, see, it didn't leave nobody but Ma, and there wasn't nobody down there to help her was sick or something.
All in Douglas?
They had moved a little place out from Douglas. You ever heard tell a place called Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald.
Okay.
It's still Douglas, all around there.
Right in that area.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
It's all Macon County.
All right, yep.
It's all Coffee County. Around Coffee County.
Yeah,
Douglas, Fitzgerald, Macon, all around.
Macon is where I spent my first dollar.
Yeah.
I spent my first dollar.
Macon is the big city for all those county. Coffee County, all them stuff.
And my sister, the one that's in Brooklyn 9, the nursing home.
I know Fitzgerald, yeah.
We picked.
I passed through there when I go to Macon. I wasn't going for Benny, Georgia.
You ever heard tell of picking velvet beans?
Picking velvet?
Velvet beans.
Nah.
Well, they come along way on out in about October. Cause see, at that time it didn't get, it didn't get cold around here in Georgia. But them velvet bean things sting. The bushes, vines. If you when you go try to pick them, they sting. But when you pick them, they you didn't eat them. They fed them to the cows, to the hogs. It's a big old bean.
Like a sharp edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
But the vine thing would sting you.
Sting, yeah.
So we put on like some old long
Long
sleeve shirts
plastic glove or whatever. So,
to try to pick them. And they said that's one time they said
Scratch your skin too.
Yep.
Scratch, I
They
remember.
said all you pick
Mine used to have.
that you could, when they weigh them up and everything, get in the boss man, take them to town and sell them. All you pick, you could have that money. And I just pick it. Me and my sister, Mary, the ones in nursing home, we got $10 a piece.
That's a lot of money.
That's an awful lot. You talking about a lot of money. But see, there's a child between Mary and I, but that one was either born dead. That one. See, people didn't tell folks didn't tell you nothing back long in then, David. But all I know is it was a boy between Mary and I. And I don't know if it was born dead or died at birth. I don't know. But that one didn't live. As I said, people didn't talk. They didn't tell the kids nothing back long in there. Maybe you just as dumb as anything. They didn't tell you a thing. But they just kind of put me. See, I wasn't right behind Mary, but after that one, didn't live, looked like they just pushed me up in his spots to be right behind Mary. We went to Macon. We spent we had our $10. Both of us had $10 a piece. And I still say to this day, see, they didn't have all of this stuff like testing kids' IQ and all these sorts of things. They didn't have anything like that. So I still say, did you take your father a plate?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
He said thank you.
Oh, you didn't welcome. But anyway, we went to Macon with our $10 on the bus. My sister spent all her money. Now we had to get a ticket to come back home.
Cleopa?
No, Mary.
Mary,
The
okay.
one that lived in Brooklyn, she's in the nursing home now. Mary spent all her money. Didn't even save her bus fare to come back home. Now how you think you're gonna come back home? I didn't spend all mine. And I had to buy her ticket. I had to buy her ticket to come back home. And Lord, I don't remember how much. It wasn't much. From Macon, we had to come from Macon to